Good morning. I am Deirdre, one half of the weekly live chat, Writers Uncut, and we are waiting for Cheyenne to join us. I was running a minute late because I was on the phone with AT&T. They just raised my phone bill $100. Not liking that. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that or great. I'm here to talk about writing, publishing, and promotion. Hey, Cheyenne. She's going to join us now. Yay. Okay, here we go. Anne, good morning. So good to have you here.
AT&T is the worst.
I think you were on the phone with them last week or the week before.
Yes. Yes. Like everything they do annoys me so much.
Yeah. Anne asked, are my bangs new? They're not, but I cut them last night, so they're short. I may have cut them a little short, so yeah, no, they're not new.
You totally rock the bangs.
I have the hair of a 12-year-old.
I learned my lesson probably 20 times that I do not need bangs, and like I finally stopped trying to have bangs. Well, but I have this little widow's peak right here, so like my hair will not sit down, so it doesn't work.
I furrow my forehead, and so I call this like the cheap person's version of Botox.
Nice. Nice. That was...
Thank you for saying they're cute. Hey, Jen. We have a few people.
Hey, guys. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Jen. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. So glad you're here. I'm just looking through the scroll. So we did not come prepared with a topic today. We want your questions. If anybody has questions, please pop them in the comments box.
Also, I feel like I should adjust so y'all can see my cat up there.
That's her spot.
So she jumped up there that one time we were recording this.
Yeah.
And she's been there every day since. Like every day, that's her new favorite spot. It's so funny. And she's sleeping on the Harry Potter scarf, which is filthy now. Like I looked at it this morning and it's just covered in cat hair. So that's a problem for another day.
She's like a photo bomb, photo opportunist. She just wants like to be part of our live, I guess.
She wants her Instagram fame. But yeah, so we have one question from Jen to answer, but that's it. So we thought we would just kind of wing this episode. It's almost the holidays, and this is Writers Uncut, which is specifically because we are not talented with this kind of thing. So we're just making it up as we go along, which is a metaphor for my career.
I think for life too, right? Like I'm just making it up as I go along.
Yes, very much. Okay, so Jennifer asked a really interesting question.
Okay.
She said, how do you know if you have what it takes to be an author or if it should just be a hobby?
Oh, Jen.
Why did you trust us with this question?
Wow, this is a huge question, and I think it's not one that can be. I don't think there's an actual answer. I think it's something that if you're an author, you're plagued with having to re-ask yourself and re-explore and question pretty consistently, probably like once a day.
Multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Well, so I think it's interesting that she said if you have what it takes to be an author or if it should be a hobby. Mm-hmm. You can be an author and it can still be a hobby. So she might mean like full-time author.
Yeah.
But one thing I really like, the way I think about this is if you're thinking of quitting, trying to be an author, if you can quit, go for it. Do it. I double dog dare you to do it because that's the thing. And I used to think it was just me, but the more writers I know, you included, it's something that all creative people suffer with, I think, is this heavy desire to just quit because it's so hard, but we can't. And there have been many times where I've said, you know what, I think I'm done with this. I think I'm going to quit forever, and I'm just never going to read or write a book again, and I'm going to go on with my life. And guess what? It doesn't happen. It doesn't. I don't even make it 30 seconds before I'm like, no, I think I'm going to try to write a book again.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, if you can quit, go for it, because that means you're not really meant to be a writer. And if you're still here and you're still struggling and you're still holding on, then that means you shouldn't quit. You should just keep sticking it out, because you know, the time is going to pass anyway in your life if you're lucky, and live very long. The time's going to pass anyway. So why not be trying to reach your goals and your dreams of being an author, you know? So if you can quit, do it. If not, don't. But do know that those of us that are full-time writers, like Deirdre and me, we think about quitting multiple times. Like she says, how do you know if you have what it takes? I don't think I have what it takes. I'm just kind of like floating along, accidentally stumbling into this career, and I'm still here. So
Yeah. I have three things, or two things to say off the end of what you just said. Excuse me, and then kind of my own answer. But there have been multiple times when I've just said, "Hey, I'm done. No more ideas, brain. Like, turn off the faucet. We need a break here." And I've stepped away and I said, "Okay, I'm taking a break. This is what's going to happen." And I literally, ideas just start coming to me like in the middle of the night or when I least expect it. And I'm like, I thought we had a conversation about this. No more.
Yep.
And then I feel inspired. I'm like, well, okay. And maybe like this is like, it sounds like maybe I sound like an addict. I'm like, well, maybe I could just, like write a little bit or just like, just creative write just for a little while. It won't hurt. And then then I'm back into it. So I think that's part of it when you do really, when you possess that inner creativity, it is darn near impossible to turn it off, I think. And so it can be a hobby or it can be a career if you want it to be, but it's something that you cannot escape. And even at one point I was like, okay, I'm done now. And I'm a yoga teacher too, and I may have told this story before on here, but I started teaching yoga again and getting more involved in that and all this stuff. And then I found myself writing a yoga guide. I'm like, wait, I'm actually writing, like, okay. So that was part of that. And then the other thing I was going to say, in response to what you said, Shay, because that was I always love your answers. Darn it, I lost it. I lost what it was. It was, I need to write everything down. I should just start taking notes while you're talking, because then I won't forget. So there was that, and I guess it'll come back to me at some point. But so the creative side, I think, really speaks to writing being a hobby. So, any kind of hobby usually involves some kind of creativity, and if that's, if you're happy with that, keep it as a hobby. But I think to the question, do I have what it takes? I think a lot of times we learn that we have that inner strength, that we have what it takes as we go, and kind of like we're making this up as we go. And I think, you have different experiences, whether it's a setback, whether it's a long time waiting to get a response from an agent or find your readers or whatever it is. That's when we can either show up and say, I'm going to keep going because I really want this. Or we can step back and say, you know what, like maybe this level of rejection isn't something that I can deal with right now. And we all have different seasons in our lives when our skin is thicker than others and our patience is bigger, broader than others. And so, do I have what it takes to make it into a career? That's a really big question. And I think a lot of us learn that we have what it takes as we go, and we lean on each other. We lean on our community, on our family, on our writer friends to kind of help prop us up when it gets really difficult. And then coming back to really asking ourselves what we want out of it. So we've talked about this before. Like, do you just want to hold that hardcover book in your hands and say, like, I got this. Like, I wrote this book of my heart, and this is what I wanted. Or do you want a long-term career and you want to hold multiple hardcover books in your hand, or, travel and meet other writers and go to conferences and talk and, kind of like really dig deep and explore what you maybe are looking at for a career. Long-term writing, like, do you have so many stories in you that are dying to get out? Or do you just have that one book of your heart that you just had to write, and, maybe that's it, and maybe you can be involved in writing in some other capacity, editing, agenting, there's loads of jobs still in the field. So I think, that's a kind of a long rambling answer, but that's an ongoing, really, I'd love to talk more about it. And I think this is something we can explore in our Facebook group too, because I have a lot of thoughts on it and I feel like I'm using up a lot of time. So, ask the question in the group and we can talk some more too in our Facebook group.
So Sarah just said, what made you guys want to start the live videos in the first place? Also, you are awesome. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Um, so I think it started out because we email each other multiple times a day, almost every single day for years now. And we have always joked, like, we talked so much about writing and publishing, we should share this knowledge with people because, you know, it's like it pertains to everybody, not just ourselves. So, and we started talking about a podcast or video, and we were like, let's do Instagram Live because it's easy and you don't have to be a tech genius because podcasts are scary and hard and you need like soundproof rooms and fancy microphones and stuff. So, yeah. So, we just decided to try it out, and it's been really fun. And this is like our 12th episode, 11th or 12th episode. So we love it.
Yeah, it's really fun. I think, you know, we talked about doing all different kinds of things, even writing a book together. And it's like, well, you know, we do a lot of writing as it is. And both of us, I think, in order to do this live, we had to overcome a little bit because we're both introverts. We both, you know, we prefer to be behind the screen and typing and that kind of thing. And that's the comfort zone. But kind of also speaking to your question, Jen, too, sometimes you have to push yourself out of that comfort zone. And that's how you grow. And you hear a lot of people talking about, you know, any kind of growth, like when you're a kid, you're growing, you have growing pains, and that shows that you're growing. And so I think this was another way for us to explore more about writing and publishing and promotion and our own inner like, you know, fears and anxieties about that, and then just be like, you know what, let's just do it. Because like you always say, Shay, like the time's gonna pass anyway. Like do I want to look back and be like, oh man, like all that time we could have been just talking to each other and talking to like other readers and writers, and you know, like I just never want to.
Well, we've met people too. We've met a lot of new people on here. We're having a lot of fun. And I mean, let's face it and be honest. We started this so we would have an hour a week to procrastinate writing our books. Because as writers, you're always looking for that excuse to stop writing. But I wanted to say, I'm having the same problem you did. I was thinking about something I wanted to say, and then I forgot it. Kind of going back to Jen's question, she just replied, thank y'all, it's given me a lot to think about. That's how you know she's a Texan, the y'all. So I think there's a lot of seasons in writers' lives. And I think the longer you stay in this business, the more you're going to learn it and see it and experience it yourself. And like I say, if you can't quit, then that means you're a writer and you just need to own it and accept it. And guess what? You're a writer, and this is exciting, and it's the worst thing that's ever happened to you. But I think there's all these like seasons, because you'll see the struggling writer who's trying to get a book or trying to finish a manuscript, trying to get a book deal, trying to get an agent, trying to, you know, whatever. And they get that book deal, they're a debut author, they have all the fun and excitement of that, and then maybe nothing happens for a few more years. Or maybe they immediately get another deal and another deal and another deal, and they're a household book or author name, you know, and they're famous and living this amazing high life. And I've seen it happen a million different ways. And I've been kind of heavily involved in the young adult book community for about 10 years now. And I feel like I've been saying 10 years for like the last 2 years. So it's probably closer to 12 years now. But I have seen so many authors that I used to be online, you know, kind of blogger or social media friends with, and they get a book deal and it's super exciting, and then they fade away and you never see them again. I have a lot of books on these shelves behind me where an author had 1 or 2 books and then they never came back, and sometimes I'll look them up and wonder what happened to them, and their social media, website, everything's just dated and hasn't been touched in years. And then I have author friends who have one book come out and then nothing for 5 years, and then another book comes out, you know. So it's like that's the crazy thing about being an author, is you never know how your journey is going to go. You might be successful, you might not be, you might be super successful and then a super failure, and then be trying to work your way back up to it. So I think logically and practically, if you want to pursue this as a career, you either need to live very frugally, have a huge inheritance or something, or you need to work really hard and know that you're going to have several side gigs. Like I think we both do. We have side gigs to get the bills paid. But it's like there really is no one size fits all formula. So I just feel like if you can't quit, then
Yep.
Congratulations, you're on this boat with us and you're here forever.
I like this club, and I'm glad
Yeah.
you're in it, Jen.
Yep.
I want to add one more thing too. This isn't what I had forgotten before, but I was going to also add, you can't fail. What's the saying? If you, I put it on Instagram recently. If you don't quit, you won't fail. So if this is something in your heart and you're like, yeah, like I want to do this, speaking to the seasons that you're talking about, Shan, like there's going to be times when, like the holidays, for instance, you might need to pull back, or you have an injury. Maybe you're going to be writing more because you're stuck in bed or, maybe you do need to pick up a side gig to kind of pick up the slack for a little while. And you're going to be like waking up an extra 2 hours early and getting some writing time in. Maybe there's going to be a big stretch of time when you're just like full blast writing and like producing, and it's great. Like, I think being aware that there's this ebb and flow and kind of following it and trying to be fluid instead of push against it, I think is where we find greater satisfaction, at least.
Absolutely.
Sure.
We call it the roller coaster in our emails. Like, I'll start an email like, guess what? My roller coaster's tanking. It's on the downward slope. Everything sucks and I hate everything. And then the next day I'll be like, you know what? It's going back up again. I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling happy. Like, writing is awesome. So it really is a roller coaster. And Deirdre made an excellent point. Once you accept that and just kind of go along for the ride, just strap yourself in the metaphorical roller coaster and just go along with it. It's going to be okay, because every time something sucks, like anytime you get a rejection or your agent, you work really hard on a manuscript and your agent says, I'm sorry, this isn't the one. We're not even going to send it out. You need to throw this away. It's garbage. Although my agents never said those exact words, I could feel her thinking it. You just have to realize it's going to be okay. You're going to get another idea. You're going to write another book. You're going to succeed in other ways. So you just kind of, you need to vent it out to someone, so you can message us or go to our Facebook group, but then just pick yourself back up and know that you are stuck on that roller coaster forever.
Yep.
And it will get better. Yep. So Sarah asked, what kind of stuff are you planning for 2019, if you know at this time? Do you want to answer that first?
This has been a big topic that we've been talking about lately. So yeah, this is kind of like, this is our last Writers Uncut of the year. So it's kind of the wrap up, and we've both been emailing and talking and thinking a lot about what we want from 2019. And I think just knowing that we're on the roller coaster and there's going to be a lot of ups and downs and waiting in lines and all metaphorically, of course. But for me, I have one manuscript on submission still. I have another manuscript with my agent. They're two very different, one's contemporary YA with mystery, and one is fantasy with pirates. So two very different stories. But that one's with my agent, and I don't know if you're still on here. But I'm just trying not to think about that. And we're in revision still, but hopefully it's getting close to being ready. So that's very, very, very exciting. Like, I love the process. I love and hate the process, actually. Oh, hi, Ann. You're still here. Of revisions and submissions, and it's like, it is, again, coming back to the roller coaster. It's that like feeling in your stomach where you're like, okay, I know the drop is coming, and you're excited, and then you're like, woo, arms up, and it's like fun. And then, that whole feeling, if you've ever been on a roller coaster, you kind of dread it, and it's like scary, but it's also really fun and exhilarating. So there's that. And then I have a pen name too that I've been working on, doing a lot of sweet romance writing, which is really fun. It's kind of like eating cookies and milk and listening to Christmas carols and writing.
Hey, sometimes you really need that. Yeah. So for me, I have my next novel I absolutely love. It's called Before You Wake, and it is sitting with my publisher right now, and they're deciding if they want to publish it or not. And I think the last time I talked to my agent, she said they were kind of hoping to get back to us soon, but because it's December, we may not hear anything till January. So I'm just sitting on that, fingers crossed. I have a new book idea that I'm working on. It's currently living only inside my brain right now. I haven't written it down because once I write it down, it becomes real. Mm-hmm. But I absolutely love it. You know what that one's about.
Is that one? Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm super, super excited about that. And I'm going to write that at some point soon and send it to my agent. We'll see what happens. But if my publisher buys my next book, then this one I'm writing won't even come out for a couple more years. But regardless, I'm also doing this. This answer is for Sarah specifically because she actually knows a lot about my secret freelance writer lifestyle. I am planning to write several ghost written books next year. And I think you're going to really like them. And that's all I can say about that because it's kind of a secret.
But needless to say, we both have very full plates. And so there's a lot of writing going on, but there's also the corollary to that, to use a fancy word, is there's a lot of marketing and promotion and collaborating and trying to get, you know, the momentum going for books, whether they're traditionally published or self-published. Anyone who wants to go the traditional route, you're still wearing that hat, and you're still, you know, you don't just say like, okay, the book's published and like, yay, I'm gonna have a book tour and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, you're writing like 10% of your time for traditional publishing, and then you're marketing and finding clever ways to ask people to please buy your book for the 90% of the rest of your life. Like, there is so much marketing involved, and that is one thing we're both heavily trying to learn and research and implement next year is marketing, because there are so many millions of potential readers out there, and we just have to find a way to get them and to make them know that our book exists. So I swear marketing is on my mind more than writing is. Like, I only spend about 2 hours a day writing when I'm writing a manuscript, and I spend 30 hours a day, because I have a time turner, thinking about marketing. So it's rough and it's not fun. And that's another one of the downsides to being a writer, because like you can fantasize that being a writer is hanging out in this cool coffee shop and like pouring your heart out on the page, and it's really not. You do that literally like 10% of your time you spend writing. The rest of it is marketing or editing or pulling your hair out or typing furious emails to your writer best friend because you're freaking out.
I have to read that one still. I was on the phone with AT&T, but I saw the top of it. But yeah, I want to borrow that time turner too. Thank you for offering us good luck. But yeah, so 2019, lots of writing projects, but also heavily concentrating on marketing and promoting our books or our books to be, or, you know, whatever that's going to look like, because it's a huge part of the process. I think, you know, we call ourselves writers, but we are probably equally, or if not more so, book promoter or marketer people. I don't know, like,
yep.
There's technical terms for that, and people have jobs for that. And you know, hopefully you do. Hopefully you're paired with a publisher who is going to help support your book, but mostly that relies on you connecting with your readers, and you, like you said, thinking of creative ways to get your books in front of people's eyes. And I thought with Sasha, you had a fabulous, amazing, you know, pre-order gift, post-order gift, all kinds of cool promotional ideas. I thought it was really wonderful. So if anybody's wondering, have a look at your website.
I worked so hard on that. And I'm a little bit bitter about it too, if I can be perfectly candid and honest, because I must have spent weeks trying to think of the perfect pre-order incentive gift for my book. And I came up with a wish bracelet, which I didn't invent the term wish bracelet, but you still have your... So I came up with that for my book because it's the last wish of Sasha Cade. So I included a wish bracelet and actually made them myself. I've had a lot of people ask where I bought them. I bought the charms wholesale. I bought the thread wholesale. I designed the cards. I had them printed. I made everything all myself. And right after I posted that, I've seen probably a dozen other authors include a wish bracelet with their pre-order gift. And nobody had done it beforehand. So it's like, I'm kind of bitter about that. It's kind of like, you copied me and your book has absolutely nothing to do with wishes. Yeah. But, you know, it's like, whatever. So I guess that comes with the territory, is we're all trying to think of clever new ideas. And if something works, then we're all going to jump on it, I guess. But, you know, do what?
You're the OG.
Yeah, right? Like, that was my thing. So anyway, and I've already started trying to think of clever gifts for my next book, if and when it gets published, that will pertain specifically to the book. So anyway, yeah, it's extremely hard. We spend so much time marketing and trying to sell our book, and it's, you know, it's it's not fun.
It's not, but I think a lot of times, especially for those of us who trying to think of for those of us who like we're writers because it's what we love, it's what we're passionate about. It's not necessarily like we don't think of it as a business. Marketing and like trying to sell books can feel weird and like not something that we don't want to do. But I promise you have to get over that, or I maybe not promise you, like I recommend strongly that you get over that, because it's part of the territory. And we can answer any questions you have about that, or use another, or answer them on another live or something, because it's something we've both been learning a lot about over the years, and we've had experience with failures and successes and all kinds of things in that area. So, so you wear many hats.
It does work.
What's that?
It works though, and lately, so my book's been out since October 2nd, so almost 3 months now, and lately, it's like it took a while, but I'm starting to get Instagram posts and emails and tweets of people that have read my book that really liked it. And it's like, as soon as that starts to flow in, all of the hard work and the sweat and tears and all the money I've poured into marketing this book just totally feels worth it. And I have what I call like strangers, like stranger readers. Like if someone messages me and I don't follow them, they don't follow me, I've never heard of them before, they're not a friend, and they love my book, that is literally the best feeling in the world. And I recently had someone from Brazil posted my book on their Instagram, and I had to translate the caption because it was written in Portuguese, and it said, so she had bought 3 books, and one of them was mine, and she's like, I was really looking forward to these first 2 books. I've never even heard of this 3rd book, but it sounded really great, so I bought it. And I'm just sitting here like, my book is in Brazil. My book's in a Brazilian bookstore. Like, this is so cool, you know? Like, someone who had never heard of me just picked it up and bought it and posted a picture online, and it was just the coolest feeling ever. The coolest feeling, because I feel like I spend so much time marketing on social media, and I think that only my little bubble of followers or even know that I exist or that my book exists. And to see it, you know, existing outside of my own country is so very cool, so cool.
Yes.
So it really is all worth it in the end, even if it takes you 5, 10, 20 years. It's so worth it. You know, it just, so don't give up. Just strap into the roller coaster and just know that it's going to be okay, and you will succeed. Like Deirdre said, as long as you don't quit, you're one step closer to succeeding.
Yep. I think that's a good way to wrap this up. This 2018 chat that we started on kind of not a whim, but we're just like, yeah, let's do it. Why not? I like that.
Yep.
You can't give up, and you need to have community and other writer friends, and that's what we're here for. So if you're ever wondering if you have what it takes, I think, you know, being part of...
If you're here, if you're here, you have what it takes. If you've made it this far that you're following us and watching our videos, you have what it takes. Just don't give up, because, you know, like, you don't want to be a year or 2 from now thinking, what if I hadn't given up, you know? So
if you're
anyway,
asking yourself a question, if you're asking yourself that question, then I think that's a good sign that you have this strength, and you're just on uncertain ground. It's uncomfortable. It's like, oh, I don't know, like, this is unfamiliar. Like, I feel out of my zone. And so I think that's just a sign that you're on the right track, on the right path. And happy holiday to you too, Jen, and everyone else who's joined us in 2018.
And we will see you next year. Shiny new year that has got to be better than this year, hopefully. And we're going to come back to you in January with a fully thought out episode that we're not just winging. Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe not.
So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and have a good holiday.
You too. Merry Christmas, guys. We'll see you in 2019. I think it's January 2nd.
Oh, I have no idea. Yeah, something.
Okay.
The first Wednesday in January.
and send us your questions, your writer and writing, promoting, marketing questions, all that good stuff. And we will see you soon.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.